Hello and welcome to episode 8. In this episode we're going to be putting in the bridge. This can be quite a tricky sort of concept because there's certain elements on the bridge that we don't really need for this picture. There's some signage and also there's things happening within the arch, so you can see some narrowboats and things like that we need to get rid of. So without further ado, I'll just find the image that we're going to use. That's this one here. Just load it up. So as you can see, we can do a straight cut across the top. That'll get rid of the cars, but we've got to sort out these arches because where the water ends, we've got barges in there and all sorts of things happening. We've also got to get rid of these modern day signs as well from the bridge arches. So let's crack on. We've got our work literally cut out for us with this. So I'm going to do a cut from here. I think I'm going to start here. And just cut along the bridge. This bridge was taken in Stratford upon Avon, if I remember rightly, and I thought it was a really lovely bridge, but as a picture, as a photo, standalone photo, it wasn't very attractive. So again, it went in my, looks like it's had a bit of a repair there. I reckon the car's probably gone through that. We'll cut it out, but I might replace that with a bit of old section because it looks a bit too modern. And we can do that with the beauty of Photoshop. We are in control. So I'm just going to come around here. I want to keep most of these sort of reflections in. We'll keep those in for the time being. I'll take them out later. Sound like a hitman. I'll take them out later. Right. There we are. So just create the marching ants and select modify, and we'll just feather it 1 pixel, but we'll contract as well. Modify, contract 1 pixel. Actually 2 for good measure. Right, okay. So Control J or Command J. I'll see what that's like. So the top's not bad. Right, we'll sort this end section out because I'm not happy with it. So what we'll do, again, we'll just pinch a bit from here. I don't want to do it directly next door because it'll might look too obvious. So we'll have that bit. So Command J, and move that across. We might need a bit more. So now that we've got it in position, we want to distort it. So we want to go to Control T or Command T on a Mac, go to Edit, Free Transform, Distort, and that gives us a little bit more flexibility. Don't know if we can get away with doing the whole, can we? We might be able to, because it is in the distance. Yeah, we can get away with that, that's not too bad. I'm just going to use the clone stamp tool and just change my brush to a sensible one. What I want to do is I just want to paint in just this ridge a little bit better. There, that don't look too bad. Right, while I'm here, I'm going to get rid of these signs, because I don't think they had them in the period that we're concentrating on. So, we could try the obvious way, or the most easiest way. That's content aware fill, see what that does. Oh no, I'm on the wrong layer. Content aware fill. Not too bad. Yeah, that's okay. 3 coming up, right. So let's just get rid of that. That should be easy. Let's use the history brush actually and just paint back in. So that's that. There. Get rid of that as well. Content aware fill. Right. I'm going to use the patch tool for that one. So hopefully I can drag it over here. No. There. Right, what we need to do here is go to Window, and we want Clone Source. Right, and I want to change the angle of this because it's the same angle as that, so I need it to suit this. So what I'm going to do is just change it. I think it's 45. No, minus 45. No, not quite. Minus 35. That's better. Perfect. Just getting the angle right. So now we'll get rid of these. Now I'm going to use, what do I use for that? Might be able to use the patch tool again. That's okay. Yeah, that's better. When we do that, you get this kind of cloudy, misty, where it's just losing detail. So I'm just putting the detail back. 2 more to go, and we're there. If you're following along, just take your time. Just get the angles right. Make sure no brickwork looks slightly wrong, because it'll just jar the eye, and you'll see it every time you look at the picture. So the patch tool is doing a pretty decent job. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be perfect, because this bridge is going to be way off in the distance. It's going to be very small, so you're not going to be able to see, you know, the individual cracks of the brickwork or anything like that. So let's get rid of these happy rowers. So we'll just select them. And what we'll do is we'll do content aware fill. Now this green area is telling you where it's going to find the source material to put in its place. So as you can see in the preview here, we have got a bit of the bridge because the green is highlighting the bridge, so that's where it's going to get its source material from. We don't want it to use the bridge, we want it just to use the water, which is why I've chosen to use this. So I'm just going to cut it off there because there's no reference material there at all, and then I'm just going to get rid of the bridge because I'm telling Photoshop only find the source material in the wet stuff. So as you can see over here now, it's done a better job because it's leaving the bridge alone. Still not great, but it's better than it was. So I'll say OK to that. Deselect, and we'll just use the patch tool first just to get rid of obvious I'm on layer 1, that's why I need to be on that layer. Right. I know what's happened. What it's done is put the bit it took out onto its own layer. So what we need to do is just merge that with the bridge layer. In fact, I'll merge all three of those. I can grab it. Merge, merge, bridge. Call that bridge. I just want to get rid of some awkward looking shapes and tones. Just using the clone stamp again to get rid of these weird shapes from the heads of the rowers. Because I like this kind of texture here. We've got this lovely sort of reflection, so I'm just going to select some of that. I'm just going to lower the opacity because I don't want to do it directly over it, and I'm just going to go over this. So we've hit our first problem. In the clone source, I think it's still set to -10. So if I zero that, see what that does. Yeah, that's better. Perfect. Right, we're getting there. So what I need to do now is get rid of the barges from under there, but I need to keep the water intact, which is very tricky. Right, so we'll just use I'm going to use a selection. I'm going to paint in the selection. So reset your palette, paint black, make sure you're painting a selection, so press Q and then just paint out. I'm going to semi-hard the semi-hardness of the brush and just paint in. So I'm going to get rid of these arches. What we need to do is just make sure that when it goes into the next picture, our composition, that the perspective's right, because here we can see through the arch and we can see the barges. But on the perspective on the other one, it might expect you to see more. But we'll see, because this water level comes up to halfway up the bridge, as you can see. So I'm going to delete up to that water line, but the water line might need to go further up in relation to the perspective of the composition that we're creating. So I hope that makes sense. But we'll deal with that as and when. So here, look, we don't really need to do much with that because viewing that through the original scene wouldn't cause so much of a problem. There's a bit of a dark shade here, so I'll deal with that in a minute actually. I don't like that, so I'll deal with that as well in a bit. So we've just got those two arches for the minute. So I'm just going to select feather, 2 pixels, and I'm going to delete those out. So there, I just want to there's a bit of a red tint in there which I'm going to get rid of, so I'll just put a new layer. I'm going to colour on the blending modes, and I'm just going to select a darker colour and then just paint over. Right, what did we say we were going to get rid of next? We're going to leave that, see how we get on with that. There's a dark edge on there which I'm going to sort out. And here, I'm not so fond of this, so I'm going to take it out. Right, we'll see what content aware fill does first. Sometimes it can do, that's not too bad, I'll do it again. If you're not happy, do it again. That's not too bad. In relation to the scene it's going in, that's not bad at all. Just get rid of that line. Yeah, that's okay. Right, so we've got our bridge. Right, merge those then. And drag that into our composition. We don't need that anymore, that can go. Right, let's resize it. Command T or Control T, depending on what computer you have. So make sure that the edge of the bridge is out of the frame, it's just coming in. Looking at that, the archways look really good because we can see through, and then it looks like the river carries on in that direction. Which, although there's a hill there, it could do. Could be a dam or something, whatever. So, let's go to Edit, Distort. And just get this thing in position. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So now we need to just neaten up that water because we've got a rough, solid edge. So we just need to use a black brush on a layer, make sure it's very soft, and just get rid of that hard edge. Just lower the opacity quite a bit as well. So we want to really blend those two together. Bring some rocks back, yep, definitely. The more you can bring back of the original scene, the more realistic it should look. Obviously we've got a bit of foliage there, so this archway might be a bit redundant. The river's narrowed over time. So if you notice, we've got this kind of hard, where we put that new bit of brickwork, it's kind of sticking out a little bit. Tell you what we'll do, we'll curve it round. I always like to do things that are a bit challenging. So we'll select that, and we'll, I wonder if we can puppet warp just that little bit. Puppet warp. No, perspective warp. I want puppet warp. Don't apply. Right, edit, puppet warp. Yeah, I can do it to that bit. So put a pin there, pin here, and then just bring that down. And then press OK. That's better. So now we have got the bridge in. We just need to tone it now and get it looking part of this picture. Again, it's quite bright. So we'll go to, I'm going to go to hue saturation first because I'm going to change the colour of it somewhat. again, I'm going to use the gradient tool because the light's going to be coming in from sort of that direction. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. There we have it. We've got the bridge in place. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It does take a little bit of time and it's a little bit fiddly at times, but hopefully you've got somewhere where you feel happy. Join me in episode 9 where we'll be putting in some foliage.